Time to get you in the know with this continuation of a prolific heat dome over parts of the United States that's fueled a lot of wildfire activity. Take a look at some of the dramatic footage here out of Nebraska. Now, wildfires not the only kind of frightening product of this heat dome, as we see some containment efforts there. We also have seen some dust storms. Last week it was Colorado. Now we see this activity in Texas. And how about powerful storms? Well, take a look at the damage here in Tennessee. This is unbelievable stuff here as locals survey intense damage. Now, this heat dome has had some impacts on our weather here in Canada as well. In fact, for many across the western half of the continent. But that may be sort of changing the nature of those impacts to our weather. Let's check in with meteorologist Kevin MacKay. Kevin, for what exactly we're seeing looking ahead.
Yeah, well, we have good news for the south coast of BC. The rainy portion and rainy influence from the heat dome is coming to an end. So Vancouver, you saw upwards of 100 millimeters over the last week. You've already surpassed your monthly normal for Vancouver. Now, you are going to be pretty dry, relatively dry for the remainder of the month because our heat dome, yes, it's continuing, but it's shifting and weakening. So it's kind of shifting its focus from Arizona to New Mexico. Now, this has already brought kind of the first wave of the heat over the last few days. So Phoenix, they've already had 3 consecutive days over 100 degrees Fahrenheit. That is the earliest on record. 3 in a row, that's the earliest on record. Now, this brought some record warmth into BC as well. Soyuz has had 3 consecutive days over 20 degrees. Now, for the remainder of March, we're still going to have that abnormal warmth over the western U.S., but it's not really going to get above the 49th parallel. Now, you see that abnormal cold over the northern part of the prairies. Between those two air masses, that's where we look for a bit of a storm track. So we'll be lacking a significant pulse of Pacific moisture since we don't have that atmospheric river. So these clippers, they are going to be pretty weak. So here's a great look at that area of high pressure, the lack of cloud over the southwest U.S., but we don't have a real strong, steady cloud band coming in. So we don't have continuous moisture. So with all that sunshine, yes, we're going to have a whole lot of warmth south of the border, but it's going to compress, kind of squeeze out towards Texas while that storm track shifts south of the BC coast. So the rain that we do see, it's primarily going to be down in Oregon. Now, in terms of how we're in the, let's say it's the middle of the heat dome, and right across the majority of Canada, we aren't getting the abnormal heat nor the abnormal cold unless you go to the far north where you're holding on the cold side of that air mass boundary, Yellowknife. That is not the place to be if you're wanting warmth right now. Now, for the second half of the heat dome stateside, you see, look at Lincoln. Over 20 degrees above normal, getting into the mid-30s, and I think that's maybe a one-day drive to head down there from Winnipeg. And Winnipeg, you're certainly not going to be getting that warm. Now, this might have you feeling like it's the middle of summer. Well, Friday was actually the arrival of spring, and temperature is going to be well below where you should be for the first day of spring in Western Canada.